The United States Supreme Court ruled yesterday in favor of a woman seeking parental rights over 3 children she'd adopted and raised with her lesbian partner. So the woman filing the suit, known as VL in any of the court documents, was in a relationship with another female, EL, who was the birth mother of these kids. And they'd actually established temporary residence in Georgia in order to establish the adoption rights of VL. And then they continued to raise the children. In 2011, the couple split, and the birth mother decided that she did not agree with the parental rights agreement that they'd had before. And so she filed a claim saying that where they currently resided in Alabama, the Alabama courts did not have to honor the judgment that had been made in Georgia, which is where the adoption rights had been given. So basically, Alabama's court had previously ruled that the state's laws do not permit adoption by an unmarried parent in a same-sex couple if they have no biological relationship, which is why they had to move to Georgia. Right. So the Supreme Court just overruled the Alabama ruling. So this is kind of a big victory with regards to adoption rights, because the Supreme Court said that they had to grant full faith and credit to that Georgia settlement.
Right, and I guess we could easily sit here and say, oh, it's Alabama. Of course, they probably just looked, at the title of the case and were like, next, didn't even want to give it any chance. But then again, we have to remember that's only one judge, that I don't think, it's indicative of the entire state. I'm not going to say that. Although that probably wouldn't happen in California, that should be said.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm glad that was the outcome. That's good news.
Well, and what was very interesting is that the Supreme Court, none of the justices dissented. There were no oral arguments heard either, which generally happens if a lower court's ruling was very contrary to Supreme Court precedents. So I kind of liked the fact that they kind of looked at it and were like, no, I think you have to honor this ruling. I think in general, the fact that, as with any relationship, if you have parental rights and then the relationship goes a little bit sour, I am interested to see what the decision was there on behalf of the biological mother. Like, if she was looking at it from an angle of like, well, Alabama won't honor this ruling, and so should I take advantage of that? Or if it was just a matter of location.
No, that's a valid question, and I don't know how to answer that. I'm not sure, but to be honest with you, I think this in 2016, this is still an argument in a very progressive country, like the U.S., which is kind of sad in itself. But especially during this presidential race that we're seeing right now, I mean, so many people's fears and anger towards a lot of the decision that Obama's made have really been highlighted. Same-sex marriage is one of them. With Huckabee and the whole Kim Davis thing, that was like a huge thing. But it's really highlighted how many people are against things like same-sex marriage in this country, although we are a very progressive country. So it's really nice to see that the Supreme Court is still making the right decision. So I think it's cool.
And in their opinion, the Supreme Court actually said, quote, "A state may not disregard the judgment of a sister state because it disagrees with the reasoning underlying the judgment or deems it to be wrong on the merits," essentially saying that they have to honor full faith and credit of a ruling that was made in a different state. So this is big news for adoption rights, and hopefully this will set the precedent for cases to come.